Okay. So go ahead and share your stories.
I just finished my Yom Kippur fast from sundown last night till now, getting ready to go to work. No food, no water, and I was wearing the Joy patch and the Liberty patch, and those got me through. This has been the easiest fast I've done in years. It's grueling to have no food and no water for 24 hours.
No
And
water, wow.
I went through it like a breeze.
Wow.
So this really carried me through.
Well,
So
that's pretty exciting. Thank you for sharing, Sally.
you're welcome.
Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and turn that off or pause.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see all of you tonight. We've got a lot we're going to cover. I'm going to do some in the beginning, and then we'll do some things together, and then Forrest will do some things. So you'll be entertained all the way through.
That's a lot of things.
I know. So one of the first topics that I thought would be good to cover is this whole idea of the joy patch. When I looked at the whole list of them in the beginning, I just thought that one was
Not worthwhile.
I just didn't think it would be useful, and yet it's become one of my personal favorites. I didn't realize how much when I have a lot going on, I can veer into not so much depression, but just
Functionality.
not that either. It's more of I feel like my joy, I feel like disappointment, or what if this didn't work for somebody, or what if they didn't discover this, or I just feel like a sadness. And also with all that's going on in the world, I didn't realize how much that was a part of me. And I really know that joy is one of the patches that I just won't go without at all. So in the notes, if you got them ahead of time, or you can get them after with the replay, it'll all go out when it gets posted on our Lifestyle for Health Facebook group page. Super Patch came out with some really good dialogue on what joy does, especially as we're moving into shorter days and it gets darker sooner. That's a little depressing. I'd rather have nice long evenings. As it gets darker earlier and air turns crisp, moods can shift. Joy is a perfect complement to wear when you keep your spirits up, doing your crunches, exercising. When you wear joy, it's easier to maintain positivity through small intentional moments. And, whatever that looks like with you, for me, it's quiet time because I'm an introvert reading a book. Everybody's quiet for us, just talking to somebody. Those are peaceful moments for me. So it just went through and gave just kind of an overview on joy. So that's in there.
Can I say something? When we had this whole pack of them in the office, all these different patches, I thought probably one or two of them would be worthwhile. I had no idea that they actually all worked. I mean, like 2 months ago, I don't think we thought that all of these worked. I don't know what I thought. You figured it out pretty quick. But I will honestly say that when you look at a patch, your brain just doesn't, for me, my brain didn't compute that it could do what it could do. And I had to put them on while I was swinging my clubs, watch my balance change. I thought, okay, that's legitimate. But, are we really going to make people's skin better? Are we really going to make them happier? That just struck me as different.
Here's the thing, and I talked about it last week. When you understand that the signals, that little thumbprint on each patch goes to a specific brain pathway and puts it in balance. When you really, really, really get that, then you realize they each have a benefit. Does not mean that you need to wear all of them. That's not the point. The key is to begin to discover what pathway in your body and brain could use benefits. So in the notes, I leave it in there every week just so you can think through things, or if you're talking to people, there's the different stress pathways on page 3. So that gives you an idea of places to start. I was working with someone recently that, deals with smoking addiction and a coffee addiction. I thought, sure, kick it would help. It didn't. What was happening is the brain and adrenals were so tired, so exhausted due to toxicity in the body. Defend tested really well. Many, 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 many brain injuries and hits to the head. So Liberty is a big deal. But what went after the addiction pathway was focus. And I thought that was really fascinating. And, the binder was really important, biotoxin, to help deal with all the toxicity. But bringing his brain into focus took so much stress off the brain that the brain didn't try to go to all these other things, stimulants, to get their energy. So it's very interesting. This is something you get to experiment with and play because there's so much to learn. Now, before we jump into stories, and we've got a few, and some of you might have something to add, I want to share something because this has been a really big process for me and in many different ways. Whenever we get connected to people, places, things, adventures, or companies or ministries, we can form a heart and soul connection. It could be positive or negative, but over the years, what I have found is that when I move into a new season, I asked the Lord if it would be beneficial if I would disconnect from something from an old season, whether it was beneficial, not beneficial, so that I can more freely move into a new season. So I went back, and in the notes, it tells you it's on our YouTube site, CherylTownsleyTV.com. You just put in soul tie. I did a video explaining all this, and in the description is a soul tie prayer that I personally use. And so I went back over every ministry that I used to be a part of, but I'm not now. It doesn't mean, there had to be issues, but it's not something that's moving into the new one. I certainly have done it over friends and family who have passed away. I've done it over different network marketing companies that we were a part of. Forrest had great success, but many of them had some disappointments where the company kind of failed us and other people. And I didn't want to carry any of that angst from that season into this season. I've done it with different mentors that I've had that were incredible. At a certain time, I'm just in a different season. So I would encourage you. I've done it with different houses that we've lived in. I've done it with different churches that we used to go to. Anything that God's saying, this is your new season, that stays back there. All I've done is go through that soul tie prayer so I can release anything positive or negative that I don't need to carry forward. I'll bless them, but I'm not carrying it forward. And I can tell you that that's made a huge difference for me. And I would encourage you as you're looking at Super Patch, whether it's just as a customer, as a member, if you decide to do something with the business side, you just want to be clean of anything from the past from ever you were offended or hurt or disappointed or taken advantage of, or the company didn't do the best things they might have been able to do. Anytime you can do that in any area of your life, doctors, healthcare providers, whenever you can get to a place of neutral, you can move into a season much, much, much more effectively. So that's in your notes. So we have some stories. I'm going to share one, and I don't see Nancy Stewart on, but maybe you can share Nancy's story in a minute.
She had an event tonight.
So I decided, because someone was saying, well, I've decided I don't want to do a lot of patches. So she was getting rid of some. So I thought, well, my sleep was pretty good before REM. So I just decided to stop REM.
Saved me a buck, right?
Yes. So Forrest had said I wasn't wearing too many patches. And so the very first night that I didn't wear it, I was awake from 1 until 3:30. And I went, well, that's not a good thing. So then I added it back in and I went back to sleeping all night. And if I do wake up, I go back to sleep. So that one is actually more important than what I realized. This is where you get to experiment, play with things, see what happens if you do it, see what happens if you don't. I will say that joy and boost, I look at and go, I'm not even going to experiment. I know that joy is helping me go through this season in the world and just lots of things. It's just like I won't go without that. and I won't go without boost. So then I decide, well, I'll go without peace because my nervous system's pretty good. I'm relatively calm. And then it was like, well, I'm not sure on that one, whether that's going to come back or not, but I'm identifying Lumi absolutely is making such a difference in my skin. So I've got my 3 guaranteed through the day and then REM at night, and then we're going to.
Right. So at one hand, that sounds like a lot, but this is kind of like athletes doing what they need to do to take care of their bodies, to stay in the game and to perform because we're both in really a high performance season right now. So these are tools and resources that are taking care of your ability to perform.
After the head injury, it'll be 3 years in November right here. I have done a lot to rehab my brain. And your brain, your eyes, and your heart are the biggest users of energy in your body, not your adrenals. It's brain, eyes, and your heart. And I am doing so much computer work right now, so much research, so much writing, videos, and brain and eyes. And I don't know if any of you ever get tightness here, like right across here, a band right here. That's your brain is working really, really hard. And I'm learning that the patches help support my brain in a different way than supplements. And I've actually been able to reduce quite a few of my supplements. So I call that a win. And I'm not saying you should do what I'm doing. I just know I'm putting on my brain and my eyes and my thinking and my processing. And I am learning so much in many different areas of my life right now. So much that in order to stay in homeostasis, it's just taking support. And I'm in my 70s. But I will say my thinking, my memory, my processing is really as good as in college. It just takes a little more to support.
And a little more rest. You're a lot better about getting your rest.
I am very good at getting my sleep. I'm usually in bed between 8 and 9 and up around 5:30. So I know what works for me. Forrest doesn't require as much as I do, or at least he doesn't get as much.
Take naps.
But I know that that's important. I don't usually do a nap during the day. I do my 2 to 3 miles of walking every day. I do my exercise 5 days a week. I do my 100 push-ups a day every day. So there's certain things that are just what I'm doing to take care of me. Whatever that looks like for you, take care of you. And remember that no food, no supplement, no patch can replace movement. Getting up and moving and walking and being outdoors is really important. So why don't you go through some of the other stories?
Okay, the fun thing with the patches, because we've sold a lot of supplements over the years. By being in the health business, stuff comes and stuff goes. But what's fun is these are actually easy to do. So Nancy, one of our good friends from a long, long time ago, we knew her before she's had some of her kids, but she works at a center for young girls. I think the story may be a little bit inaccurate, but there's a gal she works with who deals with a lot of anxiety, particularly when she's driving. Now I'm thinking when she's driving, which means when I'm driving, there are people with anxiety around me driving. She's just got to think about this. It's like, okay, and that's why almost every time I go out for a drive, I see an accident someplace. Nancy said, why don't you just, Nancy had the samples I sent her, and she pulled out of her purse a little 3x3 baggie, right? Glenda, the little 3x3 baggie, and she slapped that peace patch on her, and she said, I got home and had no anxiety. It was the best drive. She said, but I told my husband we surely can't afford these. And I think the husband said, well, I think we need to figure it out. So that was interesting. That was easy. Melinda had no, I was at the post office. So I was going to the post office. I got a little station here, which is Alex is the guy that works there. He owns the place. It's a contract station. And I went in with my 2 little flat envelopes going to Australia. He said, what are you sending stuff to Australia for? Because he's used to my square boxes with supplements in it. He said, why are you sending out envelopes to Australia? I said, I went like this. That's my patches. He said, what do those do? And I said, well, there's this cool little technology that actually helps people, blah, blah, blah. And, I said, it helps people with balance and movement, anxiety and focus and clarity, because I knew he had kids. Well, next thing I know, we're having a conversation with him about his wife, he's finally realized is probably ADHD. And He said, I come home and the laundry's half done. That takes 5 days to get done. If she starts on the lawn, the shears in the lawnmower left somewhere around the yard. He said, stuff's just always laying around the house. And he said, it's a challenge. He said, can you bring me some to try? So next time I'm in the post office, I'll just drop off some focus patches. And I don't know what'll happen. It's like, and I'll go in and I'll say, oh, wait till there's nobody there. And then I'll go and I'll slap one of them on his arm. We'll do the balance test. Okay, it'll just take 30 seconds to do the balance test and show him that they work on him. And then we'll send some home for his wife and his kids, and we'll see what happens. And that was really cool.
So,
And
Teresa, to answer your question, how many patches you're wearing? 5. Are you working your brain too hard? I would phrase that differently. I wear usually 3 during the day, 3 or 4, and I take one off when I put the REM on. So it's usually it's been about 3. You wear about 3?
2 to 3, yeah, depends on the day.
So the key is not that when you put a patch on, it's going to make your brain work harder. That means you don't understand. When you put a patch on, you simply put a pathway in balance. That doesn't make the brain work harder. It's just more efficient. It's more effective. A different question to ask is that a brain pathway that's out of balance for me? Am I noticing a difference? If I take one out of the mix, do I notice a difference? So when I took the REM out, I absolutely noticed a difference. When I took the piece out, not so much. 2 of them, for me, it's like, no, I'm not going to stop those. Those are really important. I can feel it. So it's not that you're making your brain work harder. It's more of, is that a pathway I need to support?
Now, we have another friend. She's been experimenting with these because they've actually triggered some stuff in her. And the other day she said, I finally figured it out. She said, when I have 2 on, I get angry. When I have 1 on, I'm fine. Now, she is a person that really works on the emotional stuff. She digs in. So she and Cheryl have been talking about this, and she said, I am trying to figure out why 2 patches, it's always whatever 2. So if I have 2 on, I'm going to figure out why they're making me angry. Same thing with my friend Desiree. The REM patch was hard for her. So she's doing the emotional work to deal with why the REM patch triggers stuff. And she says, I will know that I have cleared a lot of emotional baggage at the point I can put the REM patch on and sleep better. So these are like a pathway. What did you call it the other day, Glenda? You said these are like a super highway to getting to the bottom of issues. You said something like that on the call yesterday. You remember that? You don't remember? Okay. Put on a focus patch and help me out here. You said that the patches help people get to their issues faster.
They do. Yes, you're exactly right. When someone has a patch on, when I muscle test for emotional blockages, I can find it very quickly.
Okay. And
It
then
brings it really almost like to the forefront of the brain. So if you
Exactly.
work with people that clear emotions, it's just going to expose something that's been an issue. The patch isn't causing it. It's just allowing it to be obvious, and then you can clear it. So
now
The other thing the patch does that I have realized, because it normalizes the pathway in the brain, they feel safe, and then the brain will bring up the emotion.
that's really good.
just a side note from a marketing standpoint, I will not get into all of this stuff with Alex at the post office. I'm just going to slap a patch on his arm, have his wife put on a patch, and we're going to see what happens. Okay. We're not doing emotion code at the post office. That's
Right.
If you got emotional issues, call Glenda. Seriously, if you want to work on that, call Glenda. She'll do it with you offline. But if you're trying to sell patches, just slap a patch on their butt and see what happens.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Cheryl, I was wearing like 5 or 6 patches at a time, just trying the different ones. And I thought, oh, what is it doing to my brain? And I thought, we've always been told we only use 10% of our brain. And I thought,
It's going after the whole brain.
it's going to wake up all this. And I thought, boy, I'm going to use more than 10%. But I have to tell you, I'm starting to test now kind of what Glenda said. Is this good for me today? Do I need it today? And that has helped a lot. But I'll tell you, when I got those patches on, I feel like I'm back in my 40s.
That's a pretty good thing.
It's wonderful.
Your hair looks redder today, too.
It is. It's on fire because my husband's coming home and I'm getting ready.
Better
Uh,
get those other patches in the mail to you.
yeah, you're a pistol. Okay. I don't think, did we share the story about Brenda and her client?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
This first time in my life, and Melinda had a story like this. There was a lady on the call a couple of weeks ago, right, Melinda? I didn't recognize her. Melinda calls me up the next day and says, tell me if I get this right. I put a pain patch on this lady and she needs to buy them tomorrow. Is that right? Kind of, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And the way I see it is that it really is making things easier on the brain, not harder. It's not overworking the brain. It's making the pathway clear. It's like, clearing out the traffic, so to speak. And I see it as a garden hose that you can, you can crimp a garden hose and keep the water from coming through it or altogether, or at least slow it down a lot. And this is like taking that crimp out of the hose and allowing the pathway to be clear and the nervous system to work better.
That's really good. Now, I will say this to that end. A lot of you on this call that we've set samples to, if you don't put them on, you won't know what they're doing. You got to put them on, try them. And like my friend Shelly said, if it's causing a problem, you take it off. It's not hard. It's not like you ate a bunch of food. Now you got food poisoning and you got to throw it all up. If the patch is causing a problem, you just take it off and move on. That was a good analogy, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Melinda. Okay. Let's keep moving because we're running out of time. So skip the rest of those and go down to there.
So there's 2 tips I wanted to share that came from Jay, who's the formulator of all the patches, also the owner of the company. One is, he said to wear the patches next to each other horizontally, not right up and down. And he said the reason for it is if you put them up and down, they're on the same meridian electrical pathway, and it could cause a little bit of confusion. And as soon as I read that, it was like, well, that makes sense. So I tend to do like here, upper thighs, buttocks. So I'm doing more this. And I know that some people, maybe will do like 2 or 3 here, lining them up. I don't know if they've necessarily had a problem with it, but it just made sense that going horizontal versus vertical might be helpful.
So Ron, just put them around that barbed wire tattoo around your bicep.
Okay, the other comment that Jay made, this might fit some of us on this call. He said, the older you are or the longer you've had a chronic issue, it can take longer for results to appear or to manifest. Some things like with liberty or freedom, those can be pretty immediate, but some of the others, maybe focus, maybe Lumi, maybe defend, those chronic issues, he said with older people, I don't know what older is. For Doretta, who's down in her 40s, it won't probably be her.
There was a time when we thought that when we were this old, we were older, but now we don't.
We used to think 70s were old, and now we've decided it's not. But he said it can take up to 3 weeks to see improvements in older people and those with chronic issues. And he also said, which I have found, if someone has trouble with REM not working, consider taking peace with it. If the combination doesn't work, there's probably something about being horizontal or sleep that's perceived as unsafe by the brain, and that would trump getting that brain pathway in balance. But I thought both of those were kind of interesting to give you something to
And
play
on that
with.
note, Lene put a comment up. Yes, Freedom Patch you can wear 2 of. We've had a couple of people like Mark. 1 Freedom Patch was not enough. 2 opened the gate, got him back on track, and now he's back down to 1. So if you put Freedom on somebody that's not working, slap one on the other buttock, cheek, and off to town you go.
With the freedom, you want to do it wherever the pain is. You want to be above the pain point, but below the brain. So if there's an issue like Dr. Anna Toker, she's got autoimmune issues that impact her hips. And so with standing all day, she puts the freedom patch on her buttocks because she can't have anything here with surgery. She also mentioned something very, very interesting in one of her videos recently, that on surgery days, focus is huge for her to have her eyes be able to do all that detailed work of surgery. So she doesn't wear it every day, but she said, I won't at all do surgery without focus. So I got to thinking maybe I will play with focus at some point when I'm doing major
That's a good idea.
focus on the computer because I'm doing so much of it, even with all my blue blocker glasses and everything else I do. It might be worth doing on computer days. So if you do a lot with your eyes, a lot of focus, that might be helpful. So now I'm turning it over to Forrest.
Okay, tonight's going to be different for me because we kind of got to go down a couple different paths here. So hang in there with me. We need to talk about the business side of Super Patch. I want to talk to you about some of my passions and purposes with this and why we're doing this. But let's get through the basics first. These are in your notes. There is, so you won't be surprised, a reasonably significant price increase coming January 1st. They've gone 3 years without a price increase, a lot of investment in this. I think Jay's up to about $45 million that he's put into this to get it going. So the price increase comes in January. For all of you who are members, there will be no price increase till January. The customer prices are going to start going up as the new patches come out. They're transitioning to the new patches over the next 3 months. They just launched Mexico. They got all of the new patches. So the new patches have a different adhesive on them. They're breathable and they're waterproof and they're smaller. So those are great. And they'll be 30 in a packet. So it'll get you through the full month. Okay, the current retail price is $60. Now you will see in the coming months, the company is doing a lot of marketing. So the company is actually advertising to the world. They've got like that big billboard in Times Square and different places. So they are advertising to bring customers into the company as customers of the company. They're advertising the patch at $90 to those people. So we are selling it at a significant discount over their retail sales side. But that's the value they're going to be establishing for it. The current member price is $45 for a pack. Okay. So most of you came into the company as customers because it was just easy for me to say, go to the website, become a customer, try the product, get the guarantee. But then after you get ready, when it's time to reorder, I noticed a couple of the reorder is happening and you're seeing your $60 price tag. We need to transition you to the member pricing because unless you're like Elon Musk, y'all hear he just hit $500 billion net worth this week? That's a $500 billion net worth. That's kind of crazy. I guess it pays to have your cars burned up in public. Your net worth goes up. I don't know. But anyway, so the member pricing, those of you that became members last month, it was $40. It's $40 to become a member. The renewal price on that is $25 a year. I've said it's kind of like a Costco membership. The month of October, membership is $1. So we can make you a member for $1 in October. So if you're in the customer mode, or you are talking to people, we want to, ultimately, I thought we'd have a customer base and a member base. I really thought when we started this that I would have both customers and members. And we'll probably always have customers at Lifestyle for Health because we just have customers. So there'll always be people calling and ordering from me at whatever the retail price is. They like buying the product and walking out the door with it. But we need to get folks at the member level, and I can help you do that, and I can show you how to go about doing it. The biggest benefit to member is that you can put 4 patches on auto ship. They call it smart ship, and you pay for 3. So you pay for 3 and get 4. So right now that means 3 times 45 is $135 divided by 4. You're paying $33.75 per pack. In January, that's going to go to about $44 when you're on the smart ship. Okay, so you'll be at $44 doing that 3 for 4. So it's going to be like a 25% price increase. That's why you want to play with them now, figure out which ones you like, get the ones that are your favorites, and then have yourselves toned in for the smart ship. Ron and I were playing with the website today, altering your smart ship order. Very easy to do. We can help you with that. So that's the pricing point, okay? Any question? And the reason for the smart ships being cheaper, Jay has been in business for a long time, been very successful, built tech companies, 3 different tech companies. And for him, he said, the way I sustain my business is people who spend a little bit of money every month. So he is always doing incentives every month to encourage you to do smart ship, okay? Questions on that before I go on?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer, but you cannot do 8 in a smart ship and then get two free. Isn't it just 4 with 1 free?
Well, here's the deal. The company said to Rick, no, you can't do that. But so far I have been doing it.
Okay.
So
I talked to support and they said, yes, it works. And I've done it. I've done 8 and got 2 free.
I do it with Anna. So Anna's my customer, my other team leader person. So I did 12 for her. I needed a bunch of product this month. So I put 12. So I put 12 on for Anna. We got 3 free and I got paid a commission on it.
That's smart.
I got paid 15% on a smart ship after I paid $34 for the product. Okay?
So that smart chip is only for the month of October?
No.
That special?
That's always. The smart
Oh,
chip is
okay.
for always. The 3 for $4 is for always. What's going to change?
4 for the price of 3.
4 for the price
Yeah.
of 3 on smart chip. Now, let's say you only need 2. This is going to be a little bit of work, but like my coffee is on smart chip. My dog treats are on smart chip. Amazon's got me on smart chip for all sorts of stuff. I got to watch it. But everybody is offering you discounts for smart chip, and we're not rich enough yet to just throw away $20 bills. So you got to manage your smart chips and
So if you only needed 2,
order every other month.
it'd be better to get 4, pay for 3, and then pause it for a month and then do it again the next month. That way you're just getting a better price. If that's too complicated, you can pay the regular price for just 2. But what we really try to do at Lifestyle for Health, both in patches and in products, is give you the best deal, give you the best value so you can manage your money effectively.
Okay.
Can I ask a
Yeah, go
question?
ahead. Yeah.
I'm in Canada. How do I
You're in luck.
enlist through you but get it shipped direct to me here in Canada and not via the States?
So the really good
That-
news is the good news, Rebecca, is it's a Canadian company.
Yeah.
Okay. They ship and distribute in Canada and they charge you in Canadian dollars. You don't deal with the conversion rate like everybody else does.
Yeah.
So it will be $45 on your website, but it's 45 Canadian. So what you will do is go to foresttownsley.com and you can click become a customer.
Forrest Townsley, Forrest.
Oh, no.
Superpatch.
Forest.superpatch. Thanks, Lene, for catching that. Okay, thanks, Cheryl. Forest.superpatch.com, or you can call me and I'll call you and we'll walk you through it. It's this point, I'll help you either become an associate or a customer, whichever you want. Then it will ship to you from Canada.
She has
You'll
to pick Canada.
Yeah, when you're checking out, you're gonna pick Canada, and then and you'll also get paid in Canadian dollars. So everything for Canada is in Canadian. Every other direct sales company I've been a part of, the big problem for you guys is, it goes from $1 to $1.70. And it's shipping out of Canada and their home office is in Ontario. So Ontario,
Great.
Toronto. So, okay.
Yeah.
So just call me or email me on that and we'll get you going. But
Okay.
every price I'm giving you is Canadian dollars.
Oh, okay.
So
Great.
it's $45 for you and 45 for me.
Thank you.
That's a win. Yes. Anything else on that? Okay. I'm getting to that where I'm watching the clock here. Okay. So let's talk about what membership gets you. Okay. So when you do your membership, you've got the option of pricing.
So membership is normally 40. October is $1.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And on their website, they call it an associate. Okay. So we have been focused on this product line. Initially, it's just a customer product line. So Super Patch has a mission of bringing non-medical solutions to the health of the world.
To medical problems.
Not to medical problems. That's their mission. We're doing that by what we do with you guys. They also have a marketing model because they want to create wealth for people that are part of the company. So to that end, they are a network marketing company. Now,
Can I add something here?
let me just finish my sentence.
Talk about what Jay said for his family, what he has done for his family.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, now, if you're like me, I've been in and out of network marketing for about 40 years, and I've seen what I call the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when I left the last time, I was done looking at the ugly. So it was a never again thing for me. So to engage in this company as a network marketing company has required quite a bit of emotional counseling for my wife and a couple of other people to get there. And I'm going to read that statement to you here in just a minute. But I've always believed that network marketing, if it's done right and done with integrity, is an amazing opportunity to help people. In other words, I'm sharing this patch with Alex at the post office because there's a business opportunity attached to it. And I may make some money on that. And it's easy to do. It's how we spread this. And the cool thing is Alex is from Korea. So where does that take me? I have no idea. We can go there. But one of the things that Jay said on the call last night is that if you're in the bottom 60% of the income strata in the world, so if you're in, middle class America, whatever that is, there's less than a 30% chance that you will ever break out of that income strata. Like my daughter is not money motivated. She will probably always be in that strata unless we do something. He said, network marketing, and I totally believe this. I just lost my belief in it because I was disappointed by companies who promised it and then failed. But network marketing gives you a legitimate opportunity to break out of that and to begin to create generational wealth for you and your family. Okay, it gives you the opportunity to change that. Now, and you can do it very slowly. If you decide you're going to do this business to get rich, you'll probably have a lot of heartbreaks. If I look back at my career, I was teaching school very successfully. It was my passion. It was my purpose. It was what I loved doing. I quit teaching school to sell life insurance to a direct sales company called Ale Williams. Some of you may remember them because I thought I was going to get rich selling life insurance. The trouble is, life insurance was not my passion, my purpose, or my calling. And that took me through the deepest, darkest failures of my life. And right at the bottom of that rope, I met Cheryl. Now, in retrospect, we are here today because I took that journey down the rope to the bottom of the bucket. Fortunately, there are people in my life that helped me get back on track. Okay. I lost where I was going with that, but that was a good story.
May I say
Why
something?
don't you?
Network marketing.
Yeah. So I left that industry very wounded, but the reason I did it is I wanted to get rich quick. I thought I could get rich quick, but here's the interesting piece I learned in retrospect. If I had taken the $500 a month that was my income that I was trying to convert to a full-time income, and I had done what I called Dave Ramsey it. Dave Ramsey would have said, Forrest, you tithe $50, you save $100, you pay your taxes with $100, and you do something with the rest of it. If I'd taken $100 or $200 of that $500 and kept my teaching job and put that $200 or $300 into an IRA, I would be a multimillionaire today. I would have retired wealthy in network marketing if I had kept my day job and just used that extra income to invest, to pay off my house, to get out of debt. But instead, I got all excited about the big hypey picture. And what we have with Super Patch is an owner who has come from the bottom, worked his way up, created wealth the hard way in multiple different industries, who now has a passion for these patches to change people's lives and has a passion to let the income opportunity also be a blessing to you. All of the calls I've been on, there's been no hype, no over motivation. The closest it's come is Jay last night saying there's an opportunity for you to create generational wealth if you want to.
So one of the things Forrest and I have talked about, because being in our 70s, you start looking at finances differently, and we have an adequate Social Security between the two of us, but not margin. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. We also have a lot of investments. We have land. That's not real, that's not like what you use every day to take to the store and buy things. And so one of the things that we are looking at with Super Patch, there's a couple. One, the science is just brilliant. That
The
I
biggest
get
thing
that.
is that you
It's an
got that. That's,
epiphany.
yeah.
It's an epiphany. Second is they work on people and they're fun to talk about. But the third is for us, we want to create retirement margin for us so that Forrest doesn't have to ship products. We have other ways that could get taken care of. We can really free up time to do what we really, really enjoy, removing some of the things that have become laborious that we really don't want to do, have margin. And even though we helped Anna get her house, that was a goal for us. She has a home because we were able to help with that. We want to create some margin for her because her heart is ministry. Ministry, and also she likes to do things with us. And so that would be really cool. So margin is a really key word for us. Margin means you have more than enough that you can do the things you're being called to do. So that's my perspective on it. And then Forrest, of course, has some other things to share. Did somebody else start to say something that I cut off? Okay,
Okay. So hopefully
just a second.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So when Forrest said wounded, many people have been wounded either by network marketing or by ministries or churches or
Or
people.
our jobs, corporations have looked at a lot of us.
And that's why I put that in the notes at the top on page 1, right in the middle. Go through that soul tie video and the soul tie prayer. release those people, forgive them. It goes through releasing what you took on, all the burdens, the offenses, or whatever. Call back what you'd given away that you want to be returned so you can be whole moving into a new season. That soul tie process, soul tie prayer, so many people think, oh, that's just if I got divorced or if I was impure. No, it's anything that you've connected to your heart and soul to a person, place, thing, or entity, organization. And I would say corporations. If you had a job where you had a lousy boss or environment, or a network marketing company that
You had a lot of corporate pain when I met you. You were dealing with a lot of abuse.
So I have gone through everyone that the Lord has shown me, I've gone through, and I'll bet you I've done over 100, way over 100. Because if I have an against person, place, thing, entity, I just go through the soul tie process. So that's why it's in there. Just get to neutral, because once you're neutral, you can make better decisions.
So what we have is I did not realize how big this opportunity was until Cheryl had her revelation. And then my second big revelation was Monica. We showed you her video a couple weeks ago. When Monica came over with her head injury, could barely walk like a drunken sailor, and we put a patch on and she could walk normally. Cheryl said, do you see why I got a revelation on this? So our ability to help people easily is really, really powerful. So then I've had to go through. So again, the soul tie prayers, but for me, there's a friend of mine taught us a number of years ago that we really have to create congruency. If we want to succeed at something, we've got to be congruent with it. And then the work we're doing with Jamie Winship is we need to know that it's part of our identity, our mission, our purpose need to line up with it, right? So when I left school teaching, which is my calling and gift, to sell life insurance, it was a guaranteed disaster because it was not my purpose and calling, and it was ugly. And when we met each other, it was a hot mess. So I journal. A lot of you have heard me talk about journal almost every day. I've got lots of these. Nobody reads them because it's got all my crap in it. And some people don't want to read that till after I'm dead. But I've been working on a congruency statement, and we use, what's that guy's name?
David Hawkins.
We use David Hawkins' levels of congruency. So I've been trying to write something that I can test is congruent with my heart. So I read it to Cheryl. She said, you need to read this to the group. I said, I think it's too personal. And she said, no, you need to read it. So I'm going to.
Before he reads it, this is really vulnerable.
I've got a patch. I've got a super patch on. So it's going to be okay. I can be there.
So I want you to know that this is a big deal. When Forrest read this to me 2 or 3 days ago, I was in awe because I know what he's been through. I know that those disappointments that he's walked through brought a lot of shame and guilt and frustration and I'll never responses. So when he read what he had written, I knew that a heart change had occurred and it's going to totally change how he moves forward and how he leads. And if you're looking at, whether it's being a customer or a member or looking at the business side, whatever you decide to do, we have no pressure. Whatever God's inviting you into, that's the decision you need to make. I just encourage Forrest to share what he's going to write so that you can know the heart of the leader that will be leading us.
And here's why it's important because, okay, we've got about 140 people in patches. This month, there were about 40 people who had signed up for the membership program. Now, in network marketing, you always have to put people in teams, right? So I'm sitting there trying to put my teams together and put everybody in place. And I'm laying in bed at 4 o'clock and I'm going, oh my gosh, I've never told any of these people that there's a network marketing piece. And I'm starting to put people in teams. And I don't even know who wants to be a customer or a member or anything. And I was like, well, I'm out of integrity because my shame issues have kept me from having that conversation with you. We've been very busy with this conversation. That's been a really good conversation. And Cheryl's been in integrity. So, Thursday I started calling people. I said, hey, are you a customer or do you want to make money? And then I had to clear a bunch of that stuff and go down the road.
Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday. And then it's like, I've got to get this written and we have to be congruent going forward because she's congruent. Therefore, I need to be congruent. And therefore, I need to be transparent with all of you so you can raise your hands and say, this is me or not me. So here we go. You need to stay hydrated for this stuff. And I've written a lot to get to this. And so this is just a congruency statement, but it's a whole page. It should be a couple sentences, but it's a whole page. Every person I touch with Super Patch, my neuro coaching, my love, my wisdom, my gifts, and my passions, and my passion is a person who I can help become healthier, stronger, and more purposeful. Super Patch easily opens a door that can lead people toward greater health, greater mobility, improved hope, better finances, and multiplication in their lives. Cheryl and I, through our teaching and community, I know this to be true, give wisdom, confidence, hope, and directions for living a better life, for creating a better future, for helping others create and build stronger, healthier families and communities. That's what we've been doing for a long time. This is true for every person in our community. Forrest, look at the names of these people and see their faces. See their hearts, feel their pains, feel their hopes, feel their challenges, and know that you can help them on their journey to living their life of purpose and legacy, giving them greater health, mobility, and resources. This is true relational multiplication. This is kind of God to me in this next part. Look at Anna and her heart to help others. Forrest, you can create so much to help her unlock and use her gifts by using your gifts and talents to create opportunity and resources for her. And when I said Anna, that's also for Desiree. She's our other daughter that we've helped a lot. She's a single mom with 2 kids. Some of you know her. And we've done a tremendous amount to be a blessing to her, but this is an opportunity for her. And I can do this for so many others when I look into their faces and love them as the people who God has brought into my life to touch and love. This is that piece out of James where Jesus said you're supposed to love other people. That's been a really bumpy road for me because I tend to judge other people. I do this with strength and honesty, passion and courage. I do this easily when I live from my true identity and purpose, not from shame, fear, and guilt. This is a life worth living. It is worthy of my full breath, my passion, my skills, my gifts, and all of my life experiences and learning that God has blessed me with. Super Patch is now a new and integral part and resource to this team and community. So it's a resource to this community as opposed to just something that's out there. Okay, so that's my congruency statement. And when I score that on Dr. Hawkins' score, it actually comes in at 500. I've never had a congruency statement this high. Usually my congruency statements are down in pride, anger, resistance, and rebellion. So this one I read every day, I'm fine-tuning it, and I am clearing myself to be congruent with this on a regular basis so that we can actually be we can create something really significant with this team and be a blessing to the company, honor Jay's commitment to bringing this to the world, honor Jay's commitment to helping other people. There are a lot of people in your life that all of you guys have people in your lives that need something you have. Every one of you has something in you, your purpose that God has uniquely given you. Charlie Kirk talks about this all of the time. He knew his gifts and he did them. And it's really easy to look at Charlie and go, he knew his gifts, but what about my life? Well, will I ever fill up a stadium? I have no idea. Not right at the top of my list. But if I touch one of you and you touch somebody and they touch somebody and they touch somebody, something will happen. And it doesn't matter how old or how young you are, whether you meet somebody in the pickleball court or at the post office or in your counseling session or through an email, there's somebody who you have the ability to make their life better. And so, Cheryl, I'll let you pick up with that.
I had to step out for just a moment.
Yeah, because Abby was having a good time barking at the squirrels.
Yes.
Thank you.
So what I'm going to ask is for feedback, because when somebody shares their heart,
Well, let's not turn this into a counseling session. Let's
counseling.
let's just
No, this is you being a leader, sharing your heart. And some of you may have thoughts. You may have
questions on
and
it
ahas, questions. And we just want you guys to know that community matters to us,
before I wrap up. I need go ahead now, guys.
and community sharing from the heart. We do that in Easy. We do it with the Q&A group. that's just kind of who we are. And so your feedback and interaction just helps us to get to know you better.
So from a business perspective, you just need to know this before we run out of time. Last month, I put 39 people into our downline tree. I think I got it right. Glenda, I put you under your friend. I was sitting there doing it. It's like, oh, because your friend signed up last month. So you let her know that I can't think of her name, but
Connie.
let her know you're her team leader now. You're flying wingmate for her. She didn't even know it. It's like, and it's just going, Connie doesn't even know what I'm doing here. But anyway, the conversation I need to have you guys have with me is, do you want just the best price? You want to kind of hang out with us and be cool about this thing, maybe help a few people. You want to be team leaders. Do you want to, like Ron and I had a great coaching call today. Ron's got a lot of experience in ministry and business and teaching, and he wants to go touch people around the world with this. So I just need to not be making assumptions about you. I need you to give me the phone calls, send me the emails and say, hey, Forrest, let's do A or B or C. In other words, that makes sense? Where we're going and it can change at any point because we've just got, I think, we have a really amazingly different, fun opportunity here. The good news is you can start for $1 this month. They've got some really good specials going on product. So a lot of places to go with that. You let me know where you want to go, what you want to do, and then we will put together a game plan and coach you, I think, a little bit differently than we've done in the past with in terms of building a business and helping people in your world. Because, somebody needs a focus patch.
Yes, Doretta.
Well, Forrest, I told you this a few days ago, and I'm going to say it again. 20 years ago, I was so jealous that I was not on your team.
You're number
And
2 this time.
I felt so bad, so cheated. Now I'm on your team. And so
You ought to look at your downline report and see what happened yesterday to you.
You also might want to consider, Doretta, letting go of any offense from 20 years ago so it doesn't sneak in to where you are now because you're in a different place now. So you don't want any of that old baggage hanging on.
no, you're right. And I found the verse, Philippians 3:13, forgetting what is past and pressing on to the high call of Jesus Christ. And I thought, yes, that's exactly right. And I'll review the notes and I'll do them. But I'm on the Townsley team.
You actually have a team underneath you too.
I do.
See, remember I said I didn't know what anybody wanted, so I was making some wild ass guesses the other night. So you got the positive end of one of those because you told me you wanted it. So you told me you wanted to be on the team, so I said, okay, Doretta gets it because she asked for it. Now the good news is there's more coming, so don't worry if you didn't get on the list. But yeah, good job, Doretta.
Oh, thank you. Mwah, mwah.
Turn on your computer and pull up your downline report. Call Ron; he'll show you what to do.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to call you because I got a couple people I want to put in and I need to know where and how. And not only that, but I'm going to order under them instead of ordering 8 and 12 patches for myself.
Don't
gonna,
anybody order without calling me first because I don't want you to mess it up.
Yeah. So
Call me first. Okay, go ahead, Cheryl.
I'm calling. Okay, somebody else.
Ron, were you going to say something?
I was going to jump in is, I've been the good, bad, and the ugly for 45 years myself. And God, when did we meet? It was with Craig and Jonathan.
Craig Hill at the who's the Jewish guy that the
Jonathan Kahn.
Jonathan Kahn.
That's got to be almost 20 years ago. And I go, and we've been in and out of the programs with you and love you. And I go, and then God just said, oh, ask a question on the Q&A call. And then it just went from there. So to me, the big thing of this is a community. And when you have a community that says, okay, God, what do you want me to see? What do you want me to do? That's the kind of community I want to be in and be part of. So to me, that's my big why, is to be in a community where everyone's going the same direction, the same way, for the same reason. So thank you.
And the coaching manual for that on the spiritual side is Jamie Winship. I know a bunch of you jumped on that. So
I want to thank you for saying that, Ron, because community really matters to us because we don't really have extended family. What we have is chosen family and community. And when we were moving into this house 8.5 years ago, we had like 30 people help us with all kinds of things. And then we did a party and we had 60 people for the people that had helped with our move. And people said, you actually have people that will show up and work? We had people that asked 3 times and I finally said, okay. They said, we just want to be a part of what you're doing. That doesn't make, it's not that that makes us special. What it reflects is how much people want to be a part of a community. And it's our desire that we create community that you feel a part of, that you feel important, and that we feel a part of the community. So that's why feedback is really good, because it helps us get to know you all
It's
better.
also really good when you put on your makeup and turn on your camera occasionally, just once in a while. Even if you don't look great and the lighting behind you is not great, it's nice when you turn on your cameras because like happy hour then, as opposed to happy hour with everybody's mask on. Okay.
Ah, Fran, good job.
Other comments or thoughts? And let's see, what's that say?
Well, thank you for sharing that, Jane. It's amazing how the Q&A is opening up. That was part of our purpose. It took a while to evolve to that specific call, but it's just people get to ask questions and I get to share from my experience, and we're doing all kinds of topics. Sometimes Forrest does it. So it's just a way for people to get to know who we are and join us. And that's been pretty cool. So
My
thank you for doing that, Jane.
My web guy keeps saying, Forrest, you need to make your calls more interactive. I said, Chris, we've been doing easy calls for like 8 years, and nobody except Glenda ever says anything in Doretta. He said, well, you got to figure out how to get people to interact. And I told you, I said, we can't do super pets and all those calls because people want a bigger picture. This is more focused. We've had more interaction and engagement on these calls this last month than anything we've ever done. That would also tell me there's some focus.
There's interest. No,
There's
there's
interest.
interest.
There's
There's
interest.
interest. Anybody else want to share something? Whether you write it or speak it.
If you become a member, are there any requirements? Do you anything that you have to do, or is it just an optional thing you can order each month, or how's that
Yep.
work?
Okay, so in order to earn a commission check, you have to have purchased 2 packs of product in that month. So you got a $90 minimum expense to earn a commission check. Now, if you don't order products, you just don't get the commission check. Now, you may or may not have a commission check coming, so it might be a mute issue. But, and then once a year, you pay the $25 renewal fee. That's it. So at that point, I look at it and I thought we would go through a few patches a month. We're going through a lot of them because they've become a part of our life. So the amount of product you buy is up to you, but the only business requirement, if you want a commission check, like, okay, Mark and Ann, you got some people this month. There's probably enough there. You'll get a little commission check. But if Mark and Ann don't do their, you say they don't even know this. I already knew that they bought their product. So when I put some people underneath them, I knew it would generate a check. I didn't place anybody in the team under somebody that hadn't had an order in place because I didn't want money going to waste. Okay. So that's why if you just do the 4-pack, and make that, I say that's kind of your business commitment. Buy 4, have 3. If you need, there should be one for you, one for your husband, one for your dog, or one for you, one for the mailman, one for the lady driving home from work. You can't do a business without some samples. And guess what? I sent samples to 2 people in Australia and it cost me $4 postage. No heavy weights, no liquids, no potions, no pills, no boxes, no customs forms, first class mail. 2 people in Australia are trying our products for $4.50. I think that's a win. Okay, it's a good question. Thank you, Melinda.
Were you ready to say something else, Glenda? Unmute.
Yeah, I think that, no, I don't think, I know the difference in you, Forrest, since I first met you is phenomenal.
Thank you.
I have sensed a spirit of quietness and confidence that at one point I did not see. So
Did you
good
know me
for
back
you.
when I dated Cheryl?
No, I did not.
I told my daughter one day, I said, if you ever bring that version of me home, I will shoot him and go to jail before I let you marry it. Something went really wrong. Everything's great, and then something just goes wrong, and you're going, how did that happen? My life was great, and then this happened, and then it's taken like a long time to get back to here. And that's what's scary is I didn't start out here. I went there. And anyway,
did you hear what Glenda
thank you,
said?
Glenda. I appreciate that. That's you see, I'm turning it into a joke because I'm having a hard time receiving it. So thank you.
All you do is say, thank you, Glenda.
Thank you, Glenda. Veronica, the replays are always at cheryltownsley.info. That's our YouTube channel. And we keep loading these up there as fast as we can go. And for those of you that want to be engaged in the super patch business, your first homework is to start watching Cheryl's 5-minute videos so you can learn about the patches. Cheryl has gotten good at this because she watches something almost every day on the patches. And so she's become educated. Okay.
I want to say a hearty amen to what you said, Linda. I agree.
Thanks, Melinda.
Mhm.
I have a question. What did you mean Cheryl watches something on the patches every day? Is that on their website?
I go to YouTube and I follow Dr. Anna Toker, so I'm watching her new stuff. Every now and then, Jay, who's the formulator, does interviews. I watch almost all of those. I watch Jamie Winship virtually every day to keep my attitude straight. And so I read some. I'm an avid reader. I read at least 50 books a year, probably 75. So I read a lot. After the brain injury, I couldn't watch videos for probably 2 years, 2.5 years. So it actually was a big deal when I could watch my first 10-minute video, and because I was getting enough healing in my brain. So to be at a point where I can listen to a video and I'm out walking for 1.5 miles, those are such huge wins for me. It's like my brain is just absorbing information rapidly and it's synthesizing and it's seeing how this all fits together. And when you see our new website, probably the first of next week, it's a radical departure from where we have been in the
We had to
past.
make a commitment to simplify, and it's good. It's like
And focus, just bring focus and
focus,
simplify.
good.
And you're going to see the result of the massive learning that I'm going through, but with Forrest, this massive transformation going on the inside. And the website's going to reflect a lot of that.
So we did, just so you know, last month, we did $27,000 in patch sales to the company without a team. They said, "Oh, we need to acknowledge all of your leaders." I said, "Everybody got a promotion was a gift," and I was going, $27,000 is a lot of product for 2 people to move out the door. Um, now if I ship all my supplements and stuff, that's different. But that was just what Super Patch put up. I told Shirley, I said, "We're exhausted. We now have to put team leaders in place. We need to figure out who's doing something, where we're going, because now it's time to multiply. If this is as good as we say it is, then we really have to have what Cheryl calls kingdom relational multiplication in this process." And I don't know how much money we'll make, but I would like to have my house paid off and Anna's house paid off. I think those are my 2 big goals. If Anna's house was paid off, and Desiree, I'd like to help Desiree get her house paid off too. But if Anna's house was paid off and she didn't have to rent it, she would be putting women who can't afford housing in her basement to live there. That's what she would do. So that's, and then yeah, Jay Dollywall. But and then the other thing to know about Super Patch is they have hired a brilliant marketing team. They're not Jay spent money on the best. So their Instagram posts are great from just a sales and marketing standpoint. Now you will notice from marketing, most of their stuff is to young people. Jay said, "We've already got all the old people on our product. We need to get." He said, "I'm working on bringing in the young people." He's bringing in Olympic gold medalists. He's bringing in really talented people. So that's what you'll see. The Instagram posts do not look like me. But that's because he's going after that younger market. And what does the younger market need? They want improved performance. They want energy without, the boost patch. They need focus. Their brains are all over the place. So there is if he did his Instagram with people looking like us, they wouldn't attract the younger people. And then in 5 years, the company would be out of business because you're all dead. And
No,
that's what's going to happen.
no,
Yes, and
no.
there are peer-reviewed studies. They're on the website. When you click on the products, there's like 13 done. There's 20. There's a bunch more coming. He has there's both observational and peer-reviewed. They struck me as too complex to figure out, so I just don't pay attention to. But they are there. The really big one is the one that just came out from the University of Arizona with their football team. They used the victory patch to improve improved athletic performance. And with their top athletes, they saw measurable improvements of up to 10% at a collegiate level. That is really, now for me, 10%, not a big deal. I just went from lifting 10 pounds to 15, but no, 10 to 12 and a half. But if you take a high-end athlete and add 10%, what's that do to their game? What's it do to their game if they can run 1 second faster in a sprint race? It's everything.
Yes, every one of their studies show that result is 0.0001, which means 1 in 1,000 chance it was placebo. That is a gold standard in the medical community, that this is not a placebo support. That's a really big deal. That's on their website. That's in the papers. And Dr. Anna talks about it in numerous one of her videos, that as a doctor, in the CherylTownsley.info, there's a great interview. It's not an interview, it's a panel discussion between Dr.
Wow.
Anna is a surgeon, a DO, an acupuncturist, and a clinical researcher. They're all PhDs or doctors. And they went through just tactile technology, and then they talked about the research that was done with Super Patch and the P score of 0.000, 3 zeros and a 1. That's considered gold. She said that's what got my attention, because when you can show something that has virtually 1 in 1,000 chance it's placebo, that's rock solid
Here's
science.
the other cool thing. So placebo is always like, oh, your brain pulled that trick on you. This is actually your brain. We are not putting a drug in the body that's causing, we're not putting Tylenol in your body. Okay, this is not Tylenol. We're actually working with the brain. And so, placebo, no, but is it brain based? Yes, because then the brain changes the physiology of the body. We need to wrap up unless there's anything else really important. We'll see you guys next Thursday for more of these great calls.
Just to wrap up, the newsletter coming out this weekend from Lifestyle for Health. If you go to our website, you can get it if you want to, but it will be on the whole Tylenol issue and how many people struggle with pain, what Tylenol and all the other over-the-counter and drugs that have that same ingredient that makes Tylenol a problem. And I talk about, yes, you can do proteolytic enzymes, or you could do the Freedom Patch. So it's about 300 words. It's something you could easily share with somebody that struggles with pain. And then there is a video that goes with it that's about 6 or 7 minutes if people want to watch that. So,
and you can share these calls. You can pass these emails around and invite people to these calls. So, okay, the dog's going to go for a walk. So
okay,
you
I'm
pray.
going to
We're
pray.
gonna-
Father, I just thank you that you invited us into something and answered our prayer that we can bring transformation with our unique styles. That this allows Forrest to be who Forrest is, it allows me to be who I am, and it allows each and every person that you invite into this journey to be able to bring transformation in their unique style. So, Father, I ask that you would teach us how to do that we can do it with integrity, we can do it with compassion, we can have fun doing it, we can enjoy being a community, we can make a difference in the lives of others. And Father, I thank you that when we get off track, because you love us so much, you'll put us back on track because you correct those whom you love. So I thank you, Father, that you'll do that for each one of us. And Father, I just ask that your blessings, your shalom, your wisdom, revelation, discernment would flow in and through each and every person who's on the call, who listens to the call, and that lives can be impacted. They can be impacted. And Father, we just praise you for an opportunity to make a difference, an opportunity to serve you, and also to bring multiplication to the kingdom, that people can really discover their identity, who you made them to be in this season. We just praise you and thank you. And we just pray in Jesus' name. And everybody says, amen, amen, amen. And we will see all of you next week sometime. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. It was good to see you on the call too, Sue. I haven't seen Sue